Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me, having boogied the night away to the BBC Big Band. This is an example of how the Pensions and Lifetime Savings Association listens to its members about after-dinner entertainment. Apparently, pensions people like to dance. I have spent the last few weeks interviewing candidates who want to be member-nominated trustees. We gave them lots of material about our pension scheme, and we directed them to the pension regulator's site on how to be a trustee, and we gave them lots of time to prepare. Importantly, these people are people that are really interested in pensions. Now, when we came to interview them, not one of them could explain to me how his or her DC pension scheme worked. And by working, I mean they didn't know which funds they were in. They didn't know how those funds would perform, how much risk was involved, and they didn't know what options they would have at retirement. To give them credit, one thing they did know was that from age 55, they'd be able to take their pension as cash. One really strong candidate said to me that he wanted to be a member-nominated trustee because he wanted to change the way that we communicate with scheme members. And he used himself as an example about why he wanted us to change that. He had just received a pack of information from our scheme administrator, and he was really frustrated because he didn't need a pack of information. He'd received a letter telling him about his options. Well, he wasn't interested in his options. He knew what he wanted to do. He'd received a load of forms. He didn't need a load of forms because he knew what he wanted to do. And he'd received pages of risk warnings. Well, he didn't need risk warnings. He knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to make sure that we would, in future, when he was a trustee, just send out one simple page telling him what he wanted to know. Because what he wanted to know was, how much would he get in cash from his DB pension if he decided to take it as cash when he retired? I use this not to say anything, please, about my MNTs. I use it to ask, how do we help people who really aren't actually interested in pensions? Lots of my friends and peers have said to me that I should spend my 2 years as chair of the Pensions and Lifetime Savings Association focusing on education. They say that educating people is what we need to do to solve this type of pensions problem. Education isn't a new thing. I've been talking about education most of my career in pensions. We used to worry about whether people understood which funds they were in, how to choose funds, whether they'd buy an annuity, what sort of annuity they'd buy, whether they understood about impaired life, and so on. We've always wanted to educate people. But certainly the changes back in April didn't help, and people seem to need more education. Now, at the Pension and Lifetime Savings Association, we're trying to help with that. We know that 53% of people we researched in our Understanding Retirement research thought that income drawdown was guaranteed, would provide them with a guaranteed income. And a quarter of them thought that there was no risk at all associated with flexi drawdown. Clearly, education is important. And we're working with Wealth at Work, directly in the workplace with savers and employers to help try to inform people about their new choices. And we're consulting on how to best signpost great post-retirement products. But it worries me because by talking about educating people, it feels like we're blaming them. Yeah, sure, we're trying to help them, but it just feels like we're saying it's their fault because they're uneducated. I don't think they are the problem. I think we are. By we, I mean pension schemes, providers, the regulators, and the legislators, the people that make the laws about pensions. Collectively, the group of people, clever people, who create the mechanisms, who design and deliver the ways in which people save to provide themselves with income in retirement. And we're kidding ourselves if we think that education is going to fix these issues. I want to give you an example. Imagine that you're all going on holiday and you're going to Spain. You get on an aeroplane, because that's how most people get to Spain, and the aeroplane takes off, and someone gets out of the cockpit and says, "Here you go, fly the plane. Here's a manual. It'll tell you how to fly the plane. You can get some online help, and you can even phone up for some guidance. But fundamentally, whilst we built this great big machine, it's now your problem. Get in the cockpit and fly it yourself." It's absurd, isn't it? Now, I'm a real believer in default pathways, and the Pension and Lifetime Savings Association has started and will continue to push the debate about default pathways. And we will continue to try to understand what it is that people find most difficult at retirement. We'll push on with our Understanding Retirement research. But somehow, collectively, surely, we can make pensions a little bit more simple for the consumer. Now, there's a whole load of new people, apart from the end saver, who are getting involved in pensions for the first time. And we've heard lots about this through the conference. In fact, you've heard loads of numbers, and I won't give you all of them again, although I might give you my new one, which is 100,000 new employees every quarter, in a matter of months, will start a new pension scheme. How fantastic is that? I've got pensions written through the middle of me. It's got to be a great thing. But these people don't know anything about pensions. They're starting completely from scratch, and they don't have in-house specialists like you and me. So pensions has to become less technical, surely, for them. They have the same overwhelming choices and decisions that we had when we were launching automatic enrolment. So we somehow need to help them. And another thing, if we're going to continue the 90-year heritage that Joanne spoke about yesterday, we need these people to be part of our community. If we really want to represent workplace pensions, they're part of that community now. But they're a whole new type of member that needs a whole new membership. So today, I'm absolutely delighted to announce that we will shortly be launching a new type of membership. It's called Pension Solution, and it should be available online later today. It will give new employers to pensions a step-by-step guide to how to implement automatic enrolment. It'll give them templates to help them communicate in the right way with their employees. And it'll provide them information about people who provide the services they need to set up their automatic enrolment schemes. That information about providers will hold some objective stuff like eligibility, fees, and of course the pension quality mark status. But it'll also include ratings from the consumers of those services, the employers. It's already got the views of 500 employers who have been through this process on it, and new members will be able to add their ratings to that as well. We took our inspiration from TripAdvisor and Which, services that consumers use every day to make their choices in life. And importantly, it'll be in their language, not in the language of pensions people. If you're able to, please encourage small employers to join our membership through the pension solution. The more members we have, the better we'll be able to represent workplace pensions and the louder our collective voices can be. And actually, we'll also have the opportunity to make sure that everybody provides pensions in the ways that we know is right. I've not seen any sign, although actually Ros did make me optimistic yesterday, but I've not really seen much sign that regulatory tinkering with pensions is going to stop. So these new people will get to join us on the roller coaster ride of pensions change. And so Pension Solution will develop and will help people who are less experienced as us move on with their pension schemes and continue to deliver them in the way that we know is right. This is just one way that the Pensions and Lifetime Savings Association is facing into the future. There will be more to come. But before I go on, I do want to reassure you, as Joanne said yesterday, we all recognise that we have a real heritage, and I also run a big old DB pension scheme, and it's not going anywhere soon. It's our heritage and our experience that makes us the right place for these people to join with us. And Rustin spoke about change. He's absolutely right, bang on, that we need to face into change. But as we face into change and as we contribute to change, could we not have some changes that actually make life simpler for savers and for employers who don't understand pensions? And for goodness sake, let's not make it still more complicated for us. I can't leave the stage without thanking Rustin. Rustin's commitment to pensions over the last 2 years has been seen by all of you. He's been a great leader, and he's seen the introduction of automatic enrolment, and he's put DC into the heart of this association. So thank you, Rustin, for everything you've done. There is, however, lots still to do, and I'm really looking forward to working with all of you to help everyone achieve a better income in retirement, and ideally a slightly simpler income in retirement. Thanks very much.